Kevin Bessey, welcome to the InQua Podcast.
What's up, Tristan? Tristan Olav Torgerson.
Welcome back to the InQua Podcast. For our listener, we will have Kevin's episode from earlier 2023 posted beginning of 2024. So that'll be a full deep dive on all things Kevin. Today, we're just going to talk Christmas albums, your Christmas music, and what you love about Christmas. Let's just say this first. You have a lot of Christmas songs.
I have a decent amount.
Not an unholy amount.
Not an unholy, a holy amount of Christmas songs. I think I have like 7 or 8. So I'm not like technically a full album, but if I was going to release a full Christmas album and have a little more, I actually have 9.
Because I think you did a few in 2019. Because I remember at one point I was like, oh, he's just going to do the Brandon Flowers Killers thing. It's going to be one a year. But you hit us with a couple of double releases.
Yeah. No, the first year, because I was doing one a week songs in general when I first started doing music full time. Because I was just like, hey, let's get myself really familiar with how to do this. And I released quite a few Christmas songs that year because I was doing one a week. So I was like, oh, every week in December, I'll release a Christmas song. So I released 4 that year. Next year, I released 2. And then now I do one a year.
One of these years, one of the Christmas songs is just going to have to replace a Mariah Carey, right?
I mean, that's the goal.
Join a Mariah Carey. We won't.
Yeah, yes. I don't want to replace Mariah Carey. I mean, All I Want for Christmas Is You is still highly regarded. And it's a good Christmas song. It's a solid Christmas song for sure.
How do you feel about Kelly Clarkson Christmas and Justin Bieber Christmas?
I haven't done deep dives in either of them.
Okay. I think they should be more popular than they are. They should be up there with Mariah Carey. There's a few of them. I mean, Kelly Clarkson's Underneath the Tree gets a lot of radio play. But honestly, Justin Bieber Christmas from...
Oh, the mistletoe one? I'll be under the mistletoe. Yeah, okay. I know what song you're talking about. That's a good song. I think the person who has like really joined the canon now is Snowman by Sia.
Really?
Yeah, that's the song I consistently hear like every year, played on radios, played on like, it's just like, I feel like people have adopted it as, okay, this is the loud. And I would say it's the first one since All I Want for Christmas Is You that has officially joined the canon.
Sia breaking through for Christmas.
I think so. But I'm also a Sia fan, so it's kind of hard.
I mean, I guess we're teasing your list. Let me ask one question before we go back to Sia. Was Christmas music always huge in your house? Is that something you've adopted later?
I wouldn't say it was like huge in my house. I mean, we listened to it during Christmas time. And we were very respectful of Thanksgiving because Thanksgiving is my mom's favorite holiday. And she likes to keep it as Thanksgiving, you know? But it wasn't like massive. I didn't really start to love Christmas music until I started listening to the Killers Christmas album like you were talking about, where they were releasing one song a year for a while there. That's when I really started to be like, oh my goodness, I really like this type of music. That's like what turned me on to it. I listened to the jazzier stuff and all the fun stuff from before, like the standards, but that's what really like shifted my mind. Before then, it was just like, we played it, but it wasn't like, oh, this is the most important thing.
It was the background music of the year.
Right. It was background music for Christmas time. It wasn't like something you really paid attention to.
Well, I guess with that segue then, yeah, let's dig into your list. Where do you want to start? Let's start with Sia. Let's go back to Sia.
Okay, let's go back to Sia. So Sia, this is actually weird because it's Sia's like critically and audience-wise lowest rated album is her Christmas album. I think music now, I know it was that way. Music might have a lower rating now, but that's just because of the controversy surrounding music. Music, I think, if it doesn't have that controversy, is considered like one of her greats because it's a very good album. It's just, you know, when you talk to the wrong people about how to deal with autistic people, you have troubles.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, back to the Christmas album. So I think it's a very solid Christmas album. It's cool because it's a complete Christmas album that has all original songs. They're all interesting. They're all well done. Sia is very much like singing it as like sincerely as she can. She's not really doing like tongue in cheek stuff. It's not like, oh, Sia's kind of doing Christmas. It's like, no, Sia's very committed to the idea of Christmas. And I mean, they're very interesting. She has like these cool little music videos that are like stop motion for them. So she's very committed to it. I think people don't expect Sia to be Christmassy, and so it doesn't always function. But like I was saying, Snowman gets a lot of listens. Like I will be like, I'm a Sia fan, so of course I listen to the Sia Christmas album once a year. But I'm always surprised because I'll hear it in stores. I'll hear it just like in other people's playlists that they're playing Christmas music. They'll turn on Snowman. There's just a lot of attention given to the Sia Christmas album. And I think she is the latest Christmas canon. Do you know about like the idea of the Christmas canon in songwriting?
No.
Okay, so I'll explain this to you. I'm going to do my best because I'm not like a complete expert in this. So in Christmas music, there's a lot of Christmas music that's written, but not a lot of Christmas music that gets played and that gets put into like the canon of Christmas songs, right? It gets played year after year. So every songwriter is kind of fighting for a position in that canon. And for a while there, no one was getting in. So the one before Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You was, I think, Last Christmas by Wham.
Okay, yeah.
So in between Last Christmas and All I Want for You, you don't really have anything. And then after All I Want for You, All I Want for Christmas Is You, you've like nothing. Like nothing makes its way into the repeated Christmas songs every year until basically Snowman. And like some would argue Snowman's not like firmly in it yet. I think it is, but some would say it isn't. And so the reason you want to be in that is because when people play Christmas songs during Christmas, and it's like part of like the core Christmas songs, that makes you so much money. Like Mariah Carey has probably made more money from All I Want for Christmas Is You than anything else in her career, which is crazy. So it's a super, super valuable position to take over. There's another song, that one Rage Against the Machine song is like also associated with December for weird reasons, but that shouldn't be a Christmas song. That's not a Christmas song, but Killing in the Name of.
Oh, I guess it's not on my Christmas playlist, but you know.
No, it's not on Christmas playlist, but it's like associated with December because they like some people were trying to meme it in the UK to make it number one, like during Christmas week because they're like, screw Christmas music. Yeah.
How British of them.
I know, right? It's so British. And so, yeah. But so songwriters are constantly attempting to get into that Christmas canon and have like their songs in it, not just like covers of things they do, like putting out a Christmas album, but their specific songwriting to make it into Christmas canon, to be covered by a lot of people, to be like an official like Christmas song. And Sia, I think, has accomplished that. Although you don't hear as many covers of Snowman yet, but I think you will. I think like as time goes on, we'll continue to view Snowman as like the most recent thing to break that mold, but not a lot of stuff breaks it.
Because I guess, especially now with Spotify or whatever else, you create your own version of the Christmas canon. So songs that I'm like, oh yeah, that's in there. That's in there. Justin Bieber, okay. But the more you bring it up, I've had just my radio working in my car, and I don't hear any of the songs that I thought were big. Like Coldplay's Doesn't Even Feel Like Christmas at All.
No, I love that song. Christmas Lights is the name of that song.
Christmas Lights, thank you, yes.
But people have covered that song. That song is like, got like a little cult following, so yeah.
But to your point, it hasn't broken the Christmas canon. It's not in there.
No, it's not. It's not. Nothing's like, Snowman's like, Snowman's the closest we've gotten recently, but besides that, since All I Want for Christmas Is You, nothing takes it. There was an Ariana Grande song that's like gotten close because I'll hear it in stores too. The it's
I don't even know if I can recognize that song, but yeah.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Ariana's mid, so.
You heard it here first. No, you didn't.
No, I've said that before. I've gotten hate on it online for it before, but she's all right. She's a terrible person, good artist.
So yeah, there's a lot of those. There's a lot of those. Let's talk about good people, good artists,
okay,
good music.
Great. Sorry.
Killers Christmas.
Oh,
none of these have broken the Christmas canon, but what got you into it? What's your favorite? What do you keep going back to?
So I got into it with Don't Shoot Me Santa Claus, which was, I think, the second or third song they released from it. And I was like, what is this? Because it felt edgy. It's different, you know? Like, I was like, what are they talking about? Like, when I first heard the song, it like knocked my socks off. I was like, wait a second. We're talking about Christmas and you're asking Santa to not shoot you, which means Santa's brought his gun and he's planning on shooting you because you're on the naughty list. Like, Santa is executioner in this song. It's a wild idea. It's a wild concept. And I was like, but it still sounded like Christmas. And like in the music video, they're wearing Christmas sweaters and like, they're kind of like, just like, you know, rocking around. And I'm like, oh, this is brilliant. And it wasn't like, I hate the really like metal covers of Christmas songs, you know, where it's like, I'm getting nothing for Christmas, you know, like all that. And they're screaming and they're mad. And I'm like, oh, screw off. Like, I hate that stuff. Like, it just doesn't communicate to my soul. It doesn't feel like Christmas. And the Killers still felt like Christmas. And then when they released Joseph, Better You Than Me, with Elton John and the guy from Pet Shop Boys, I can't remember his name right now, but his name says, right. When they released that song, I was like, oh, this is my new favorite Christmas song of all time. Like, Joseph, Better You Than Me is such a good song. It is so inspiring. It's such an interesting perspective. It really looks at, like, because I feel like no song looks at the nativity from a human point of view. And I hate, like, it's not a hate. It's like a pet peeve of mine with like Silent Night. Silent Night is probably my lowest song in the Christmas canon, where I'm like, it's just kind of a garbage song in my opinion, which is why I remade the melody and covered it, because I was like, I just don't think it's good. I think it deserves more. But there's lines about like, you know, or in other, you know, Christmas hymn type things where they have like Jesus just like chilling in his bed. He's just like the perfect little baby who doesn't cry and is chill, and everyone around him is blessed. And I'm like, that doesn't feel like what actually happened. And that's one thing I like about Joseph, Better You Than Me, is they take what was going on with Joseph and they make it so real, you know, like, well, your vows just haven't been the same, Joseph. And it's like, whoa, like Joseph's going through a hard time with this. It's kind of crazy. I think it's dope. They continue to do that with like Joel, the lump of coal, where it's like a really interesting perspective.
With Joseph, Better You Than Me, Neil Tennant's the other singer.
Neil Tennant, that's it. That's the Pet Shop Boys guy.
But how do you feel about, and I guess I don't know the terminology for it, the chord changes, the timing signatures, there's like pure breaks of we're going at a certain tempo and then it just breaks into a whole different sound for a minute where Elton John's just going off.
From the temple walls. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. It's an interesting song that sounds more complicated than they could have made it as just a Christmas song, right? And to your point, the Killers put work into it. It's like, wow, this is a good, well thought out song.
Yeah. Oh, it's like, I think it's a work of art. Like it's like a hymn, you know? Yeah. I love that part. I love when it breaks out into that different section. And then the little references to Vegas still, you know, and the desert is a hell of a place to find heaven. 40 years lost in the wilderness searching for God. Like that little harmony, right? And the 40 years lost in the wilderness searching for God. So good. Like there's so much in it that I think is so strong and epic. And it still sounds Christmassy. You know what I'm saying? Which it has no right sounding that Christmassy.
Do they have bells in it?
Yeah, they have bells. Yeah, they have bells, of course. Yeah. Yeah. They have bells. I think they have like a lot of them. They have, you know, the sleigh bells, and they have like real, like big sounding bells too, like the tube bells. Yeah.
What's your least favorite of all their Christmas songs?
It might be Christmas in LA or Dirt Sled. Probably Dirt Sled. Christmas in LA has some strong parts. I do like I like the idea of it a lot. You know, like another Christmas in LA. Like I think it's interesting because as someone who grew up on the West Coast, Nevada is close to the West Coast at least. I feel like I hear about white Christmases and like all these snowy things going on at Christmas. I'm like, what are you talking?
Where are the tumbleweeds?
Yeah, like you should have tumbleweeds in your Christmas thing. There's like a little Snoopy cartoon where it's his like cousin or something that lives in the desert, and he has like decorated cactuses instead of Christmas trees, and I'm like, that's what we should do, honestly, in like Vegas and stuff.
Just embrace it.
Yeah, just like embrace the weirdness of the fact that we're in a desert trying to celebrate Christmas. I think it's dope.
I think that's probably one of my favorites, even though it's not their strongest, just because of the nostalgia. And that's the problem. It's the nostalgia and the memory. I was in Vegas when it came out. And so it just like felt like it really connected of just like, we weren't in LA, we were in Vegas, but it was the same feeling like you're talking about.
It's the same idea, yeah.
And then I got completely addicted to Taylor Goldsmith's voice, and I was like, who's this guy? 2014, the new Basement tapes come out, then I dig into Dawes, now I'm like a mega fan. So it still holds for me with those things, but it's not their most Christmassy of, their entire
career. I think Dirt Sled is probably the worst one, though, because it's just like weird.
Okay, do you love Cowboy Christmas Ball?
I do love Cowboy Christmas Ball.
I was going to say, knowing some of the projects you've worked on in the past, or produced on, or whatever else you want to call it, it sounds like it's kind of in your wheelhouse.
Oh yeah, that's 100% in my wheelhouse. I really like Cowboy Christmas Ball. I don't normally love country, but I love that approach because it's more Western than it is country, because they used to be different genres and then they got fused together. And I like Western music more than I like country music. And I feel like it sounds very Western. It sounds like we're in old Nevada, and I love stuff about old Nevada. I love Home Means Nevada. I've hosted me covering Home Means Nevada before on Nevada Day every year. Like I don't celebrate Halloween, I celebrate Nevada Day. That's how my heart like.
True Nevada boy.
Oh yeah. Nevada's the best. It's cause like, I feel like people here are like, yeah, there's some crappy stuff going on in Nevada. We admit it, but we also love it.
There's a true pride there that I never knew until living in Vegas, that I was like, oh, it's not like a weird Confederate Southern or like California, because California, it's like, we're content and happy to be here and we're having a good time. So get out of here. We don't need you.
Oh yeah. When people say they don't like Nevada and they live here, I'm like, then leave.
Yeah.
Like, we don't want you here. We just want people who are happy to be here. Like, if you're not happy to be here, get out. Like, we're chilling. We're loving life. Nevada's a gem. I feel like it's like a trashy or campy TV show or like movie, Like if you like the Twilight series and you understand that it's not great, you're like, I love this. And if you don't love it, just don't watch it. Like, right. Like we'll make fun of it, but we love it. Yeah. So I do think I like Cowboy Christmas Ball for those reasons. I think it's fun. It's very bouncy. And it was it came out at a weird time because the Killers were on hiatus at that point when Cowboy Christmas Ball came out. They kept releasing Christmas songs while they were on hiatus. Like the band didn't exist, but they kept releasing the Christmas songs.
Okay, so do you remember what year this was?
No, it was after Day and Age though, because they went on hiatus between Day and Age and Battleborn. So I think it was like 2010 or 2009. Probably 2010.
Yeah, that sounds about right. 2010. Okay.
Yeah.
I hadn't realized that was during hiatus.
Mm-hmm. That was during their one hiatus. And then they came back and were like, we don't need the whole band. Like very shortly after they on a Wonderful, Wonderful, which is funny. I mean, then they got back their guitarist and made what I would say is their best album, Pressure Machine. So
that's a great one.
Anyway, I could talk about the Killers for hours. Vegas boys, so
We're going to have a Nevada Day episode where we just talk about all Nevada music all day.
We should have a Nevada Day episode. I love that idea so much. Okay, we'll do that this next year. I'm very excited.
Get a couple of Vegas locals on and we'll
just talk about
on all things Nevada.
Oh, that sounds so great. We could get Harley on. I feel like Harley would get into Nevada Day episode.
That'd be great.
Oh, I love that so much. Okay, great.
Adding it to my books.
Yeah, please.
Well, let's move from Nevada, the Killers, and all things Killers Christmas to your next, which is Michael Bublé.
Yeah, Michael Bublé. That's just a legendary Christmas album.
For sure. And it gets played. That's in the canon, right?
Well, there's no new songs on that. I mean, he put the Sweater song later, which is funny because he released it right after I released my Christmas Sweater song. So
Derivative much?
Yeah, exactly. Copycat. I'm in a feud with him. I jokingly said I was in a feud with him for a while because of that, but yeah, no, it sounds so Christmas. I think it sounds more Christmas than anything else. It represents the idea of what Christmas is supposed to sound like in terms of just pure sound. If you want to get Christmas feels and you want everyone to accept that this is what Christmas feels like, you put on Michael Bublé's Christmas album. It sounds more Christmas than the Frank Sinatra Christmas stuff, which shouldn't be possible.
That's true. On an album full of covers and covering old material, it sounds the best Christmas has ever sounded.
Yeah. No, it's I feel like production got to its cleanest point on that.
Mm-hmm.
And he is the last great crooner, Michael Bublé.
Yeah.
Because who croons after Bublé? We haven't had a crooner since him.
Unless we're talking about someone who's on The Voice or The X or something, and we saw one video on YouTube. Yeah, nobody else does it.
Yeah, nobody's been consistently great as a crooner since Michael Bublé. I mean, of course, why am I forgetting his name? Tom Jones is still killing it. His voice still sounds like $1 million. Or Masayuki Suzuki in the Japanese market. As far as the youngest of them, Bublé kills it, and the production sounds so clean. His voice sounds so good. That's the best his voice sounds. That's his best album. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And he gets great features on it. I think he has Boys to Men on one of his songs. And then he's got, Nelly Furtado's on Quando. But he just has great features on it. And it's so solid. It's just a solid Christmas album that sounds like Christmas.
Is there a song or two on there that you just love more than the rest that really stick out?
I think I prefer his version of All I Want for Christmas Is You, which is, I feel sacrilegious to say, but because he didn't write it, but he kills it, I'm just going to look at the album really quick. I start searching Michael Bublé and it's the first thing that comes up.
Every year.
Oh, his Christmas Baby Please Come Home is very good. His I'll Be Home for Christmas is very pure. It sounds really good. Adding Ave Maria to the set was really smart. I think the one that's a little weak for me is his Jingle Bells.
Is that the one with the
female? Yeah. It's just not the strongest to me. But I think Santa Claus is Coming to Town is also the best version of Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
That is a great one.
It's very jazzy. It's very old school jazzy. It's nice. It's a good sounding song. It's consistent on this album that his version is the definitive version in my brain for that Christmas song. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Which I guess now, looking at that list, I think his version is the definitive version for a lot of the songs in my mind. I'm it's the Bublé that comes up. When I'm hearing in my head, it's him. I will say one that I didn't love. Well, not that I didn't love. His Santa Baby is really sexy.
Oh yeah,
in
his
a weird
Santa
way.
Baby is weird. I'm not as comfortable with his Santa Baby. That is another one. The Santa Baby and the Jingle Bells are the two ones where I'm I don't know about this arrangement. Also, I don't know if you should do Santa Baby.
And it's not even if that's the way you want to float, go for it. But it's just listening to a man who sounds like he's just trying to bed Santa Claus is very odd.
I feel it's okay if it's a man, but he says stuff like Santa buddy. And I'm what? So it sounds it sounds less. I'm about to get real weird on here. So I apologize to your listeners, but it sounds like he is a creepy uncle trying to get with Santa.
I was going to say that and I'm that's too far.
But it's true. Because he doesn't sound like a gay guy hitting on another gay guy. Because I've had gay people hit on me before. I'm sure you have as well, being as pleasant as you are of a person.
In LA?
and in LA. I'm in Vegas. So, it happens. And they're very chill.
Yeah.
For the most part, gay people are super nice about it. And Bublé is not like, he doesn't sound like he's trying to be nice about it. He's like trying to be sneaky and creepy about it. And I'm not into it.
When he sings "Hurry Down the Chimney Tonight," you're like, I'm uncomfortable. I'm scared for Santa Claus. It's a little too weird.
Yeah, it's a little weird. Yeah.
We've just ruined some listener's favorite song off his album.
It's also kind of legendary though. You know, like he did that. He committed. He committed so hard that it went cringe, but he committed. Like he didn't slow up. He was like, I like the song Santa Baby and I'm going to cover it. And it's like, you sure about that, bro? And he's like, yes.
And he just went full send.
Yeah, he went full send. Yeah. Yeah. I also kind of hate the Christmas sweater song, but those are for very specific reasons.
Michael Bublé, a solid number 3.
Yeah.
Number 4.
Yeah.
Dustin
Kendrew. Have you listened to this Christmas album?
I have not.
Okay.
This was a surprise to me.
Do you know who Dustin Kendrew is?
The name sounds familiar, but
he's a massive songwriter in the emo community. So he's with a band called Thrice. Do you know Thrice?
Come All You Weary. Yeah, okay. I know Thrice. Okay.
Yeah. And like Artists in the Ambulance.
They've been around since early 2000s. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They're huge. So Dustin Kendrew has like a really interesting relationship with religion. And I don't know where he stands right now, but he's been like extremely Christian in the past, but he's also been very critical of anyone who like uses Christianity to fill their pockets, you know, which I feel as well. Like, I don't like when people, like, one of the things that's weird to me about the culture of my church is that there are some people who are doing things where I'm like, I don't know if that's like the right thing to do. Like when people release Christian contempt music, it like cringes me because I'm like, if that's your whole career, like you're making money off of religion. Like that's all you're doing. And so it's a little cringe to me. It doesn't feel right in my brain. I mean, like someone like Kanye, I feel like is a different story because he's just doing it because he's a little bit crazy and he wants to, you know?
And he's Kanye, so.
Yeah, he's not doing Christian stuff because he's trying to make money from Christian stuff. He's doing Christian stuff because he wants people to believe in Jesus. And now he doesn't hate the Jews because of Jonah Hill. So.
Jonah.
Thanks, Jonah. So Dustin Kendrew was, at one point he quit Thrice. Like the Thrice went on a hiatus because he wanted to be a worship leader up in Seattle. And that was to me like really cool because I'm like, oh, he wasn't doing this for money. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
he was like, I just want to follow Christ and do it with music and not make a lot of money from it. Just be like at a small church in the Pacific Northwest, doing Jesus music all the time. So I think right before he did that, he released this solo Christmas album. And for the most part, it's just him and an acoustic guitar with his like beautiful emo voice doing Christmas songs. And there's one on there. There's a few that are original. And then there's one that I hadn't heard before because it's more of a UK Christmas song. It's called Fairy Tale of New York City.
I've never heard it.
It's a really great song. They've got da 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 da. Seems like 2 years there's no place for the young. And the bells in the NYPD choir still singing holiday. And the bells were ringing out on Christmas Day. It's a really good song.
Wow.
And the original version of it is a duet between a guy and a girl. And they're like being mean to each other. They're like roasting each other. And like, which is like an old tradition, right? You have these duets where people are making fun of each other the whole time. And he took all the meanness out.
And just made it pure.
And it just sounds like this like folk tale of like this legendary like Christmas in New York that was like beautiful and great. And there's bad stuff going on in New York, but people find solace in Christmas and it feels glorious. And to me, his version is like the version. Like I listened to other versions of the song, like the original versions and like what are supposed to be the definitive versions. And I'm like, ugh, like it just seems so mean. And it seems so wrong. And when I listen to his version, I'm like, this is right. And his version of Hark the Herald Angels Sings on that album is my preferred version of the song. It's fast paced and it's fun, but it's acoustic. And it's just really brilliant. Like, it's so simple. It strips the Christmas songs down to just like him and a acoustic guitar for the most part. And it adds such a nice contrast to the Christmas sound while still being in the Christmas mood. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
That makes sense. I mean, do you feel like he goes too far on any of them? Or is it all kind of like, no, I've bought into the whole album. He's got a vision. He went with it.
No, I love it. I think it's perfect. I think it's cool because I want to be part of Christmas, but if you go outside too much, you hear the Christmas sound too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just the songwriting, it's the sound of it. Like, they all has the same sound. And he doesn't go after the sound. He just goes after the lyrical content. And so he recontextualizes the songs for me. And I don't think I haven't heard anyone else do that so well, where they just do a whole Christmas album where it's just them and an acoustic guitar. You know, that's not very common. And he also is just, you know, one of the lords of emo, you know, because Thrice is definitely one of the most critically acclaimed emo bands of all time, you know?
Yeah.
They're like gone beyond emo.
Have they ever performed his Christmas music or his Christmas album?
I don't know. I've never seen Thrice perform it. I'm sure Dustin's done like a solo tour of some sort, but I don't know if they have.
Yeah, I wonder when the solo artist comes back with something like a Christmas album or a theme album, whatever else, how often do they toss that into the band's rotation? Or do they just forget it altogether, you know?
I don't think you could throw Dustin Kendrew's Christmas album in any way, shape, or form into the Thrice rotation. Like, a Thrice show does not fit that at all.
Hey, well, you know what? When we have our Christmas Music Festival 2027, we're going to invite
Dustin.
Thrice and say you're just playing Dustin's Christmas album.
Like, you're doing full band versions of Dustin's Christmas album. That'd be so funny. And the Killers, like, you're just doing the Killers Christmas album. I wonder if they've ever done Christmas. That. That's another one. Like, I wonder if the Killers have ever done just all Christmas songs for a concert.
Yeah, I've seen them a couple times, but I don't think I've ever seen them play a Christmas song.
They've never played any of their Christmas songs. Because you went to the December show they did too, right?
I did. No? And, you know, maybe they did one. It wasn't Happy Birthday Guadalupe. The Great Big Sleigh.
Okay, Great Big Sleigh is perfect.
They did one of those. Yeah, they did. They must have been that one.
I'm going to ask Ted because I wonder if he knows. Because Ted is the guy he's a great local artist, but he also plays guitar with the Killers for touring. Oh. Yeah, he's awesome. I think I'm going to ask him and be like, hey, bro, have you ever thought about convincing Brandon to do an all Christmas song concert?
Just a one benefit concert.
Well, one benefit concert where it's only their Christmas songs. Do you think he would be up for it? Do you think he could go a concert without playing Mr. Brightside?
That would be the question.
That's the real question. Like, do you think Brandon could do a full concert and not play Mr. Brightside?
I would even allow it if you played a Christmas version of Mr. Brightside.
Oh my goodness.
Throw in some bells and chimes.
Like a Weird Al parody type thing. Like get Weird Al to help him write it.
Yep.
I'd be cool with that. That'd be really funny, actually. I feel like that could go. I think it could go well.
Pitch it to Ted. We'll find out.
I will. I don't know if I should text him or if I should just like wait till I see him next and be like, hey, have you thought about this?
Send him the link to this podcast and be like, don't mean to put you on the spot, but we just told all of our listeners that you're going to ask Brandon for a Christmas only concert. No pressure.
I think that would go really well. And they're all into benefits and stuff. So I feel like they could be convinced. I think this is a possibility, but I think someone else would have to organize it. Or I could ask Rob. That's another person I could ask. I actually think Rob would be more into the idea than Ted, because Ted's Jewish.
Tell me about Rob.
Rob Reynolds?
Oh, Rob Reynolds. Okay.
Yeah. I think he's the right person to contact.
He's not the manager. Is he the manager?
Yeah, he's the manager.
All right, Rob Reynolds.
Yeah. I have his email. And I talked with him before about his book and stuff. So I feel like that'd be the person to hit up. I'll hit up Rob. Yeah.
Well, we're going to get it going. My last question on Christmas music is, what is your favorite song that you've done?
That I've done. So this is actually a weird pick, and I feel like a lot of people don't agree that this is my strongest song.
Okay.
I think a lot of people really like my Under the Mistletoe. Yeah, that's like what I hear about. And I think they also really like the new one we just put out, Christmas is Happening with Jan. I think that's a charming piece. My personal favorite, though, is Celebration. The one that's like, yeah, it's a celebration, late night Christmas cheer, turn the lights off, let the mountains ring, 'cause Jesus Christ is here. It's doing that nativity type thing, but with like each individual character, like the shepherds are like, what's going on? This is weird. And the angels are like, don't worry about it, dude. And it's just like, I'm painting like all of those scenes in it. Cause like I said, I love Joseph Better You Than Me, but it's not about Joseph. It's about like all of the characters and trying to view them in a realistic light. So the song starts with, back in Bethlehem, a baby's bawling as the angels all sing out. So it's like, it's a weird scene, but that's how it was. You have a baby crying his guts out while these angels are like, rejoice. And he's like, he doesn't get it. He's just crying like a little baby.
He's a baby.
It's hilarious. If you take the myth of Christmas and make it real, you're like, holy crap, that's a weird scene.
Yeah, it almost said, well, I once said, I was like, it's almost like Christmas Family Vacation in the year 0 AD, whatever you want to call it. Like, yeah, there's no room at the inn. They're trying to find a hotel for the night. There's nothing going on. They go over there. Yeah. Suddenly random people show up. It's not exactly the glossiest of pictures.
It's not normal. It's not normal. Yeah.
Okay, so Celebration. How long before Christmas did you write it or get the idea? Or
I always write it around like September, October. That's like when I normally am writing those Christmas songs, because I need to have it out by end of November, early November. So I write it a lot earlier, and so I listen to a lot of Christmas music in September, and then Christmas rolls around. And I'm like, I already listened to Christmas music this year.
I'm already burnt out.
Yeah, I'm already done because I listened to so much in September.
Before we go,
yeah,
are you going to play a song for us?
Let's write it. What? Yeah, am I playing a song I've written, or are we just playing whatever?
Whatever.
Do we just want to write one about InQua Magazine right now, or InQua Podcast? Let's just write an InQua Christmas song right now.
Let's hear it right now.
It's Christmas time at InQua Magazine, and I'm so grateful that you are listening. What was that?
That was wonderful.
Was that everything you ever wanted?
So it was everything I wanted for Christmas and more.
Perfect. Okay.
Kevin,
great talking to you, man.
Thanks again for coming on.
It's been too long. We got to talk more and hang out more.
And we'll do it soon.
Okay, great. I love it.
Have a Merry Christmas.
You too, man.